Y'all, Bridget Bartlett here. Today, I am going to give you an overview of the high-level funnel builder, which is very similar to the website builder. You'll see that the only real difference between the funnel builder and the website builder is that when you're creating pages, if I go to this, for example, if you're viewing your pages, you'll see that they're all horizontal here and kind of stacked up for multiple pages. But then when you have the funnels, you'll see that the funnels here, like if I go to maybe this trash can here and see multiple steps, you'll see that they're vertical. Okay, because the goal of a funnel is just to move them through the different steps of your funnel, whereas a website is more like housing everything that you have available. So funnels are more for like lead generation, and websites are more for like your Google business listing or something like that. Businesses do just straight use a funnel, and that's perfectly fine. But that's usually the difference. People ask all the time, do I need a funnel? Do I need a website? They're really the same thing. It's just that funnels are more designed to move you through the steps. There's typically one call to action on each page. And then a website is more like it basically houses everything that you do. Okay. So when you have the funnels here, one great way of organizing them is by creating a folder. And you'll see when there are many different folders, you can actually organize them. Like if I go to here to rename, I can do like, let's say that I want to have like a naming convention here. And I'm going to do like 1.1. And then, of course, because that's 1.1, it's going to recognize it's a number and it's going to make sure that that's at the top here. And maybe this one here, since it's about the same thing here, like high level, maybe I want this to be 1.2. Okay. And then that way, when I go down here, maybe this white label AI ads, it's not relevant to these topics. So maybe I want to name this 2.1. Okay. Because it's a different thing, but I want it to be right after these here. Okay. And then maybe I just have my trash can. I could even use, if I wanted to, like emoticons here. If I want, like, let's see, I'll just add like I wonder if there is a trash can emoticon or emoji. Let's say trash. Oh, yeah, we have a trash can here. Okay, so I could even do trash can there. Now, it's not going to recognize what order we want this trash can to be in, but it is a little, something to help it stand out. So if you're looking for things, it's easier. Now, I do use the trash a lot. I have a folder here that I create. And as I'm moving through and trying to like organize my folders, you'll see here, like if I wanted to move, let's go into this folder here. Let's say that I wanted to move this to the trash can because I want to clean them all up. Maybe I think, okay, I'm not really using this, but you're not really ready to delete yet because you want to make sure that that you don't actually need it. Okay. So what I like to do when I'm doing that is just move to the trash can folder. And then that way I still have the website available if I realize like, oh, that was really important that I needed, but it's not actually cluttering up my whole view here. Okay. It's keeping it pretty organized. Now that's just a little tip to help you organize. You also do have the most recent um, funnels that you've looked at there. And then also you can create the list form like this. Okay. You can search for the funnels by name. You can click up here to create the folder. And then of course you can click here to create a new funnel. If you look in the templates, there are thousands of templates that you can use. You can see all the different niches here. If you click on one, you can preview it, see what it looks like there. And then, of course, if you did want to import the funnel, it's real easy. You just click continue, and then you now are adding the template to your funnel templates that you can start editing. Okay. I actually do prefer to create my funnels from scratch. So I am going to show you how to do that and some quick tips to help you in all of that. So you'll see here that as we like hover over the funnel builder, we have the section here. So if I click here, you'll see in green, this is called a section. Okay. So if you imagine sections are like the wall in your house, and then we have elements that are almost they're like the pictures or something, or the things that you would hang on your wall. Okay, so that's what the elements are, and then of course the sections is the wall. Okay, and you will see that they're different here. So we have the sections are in green, and then you have columns, and then you have the element. Okay, and the columns are will be, you have rows in blue, then you have columns in purple, and then you have the elements are in orange. Okay, now you'll see if you scroll down here, if you did want to delete a whole section, let's say we wanted to delete this section, we could click the trash can. We could also duplicate this section, and we could even drag this section to the top if we wanted to do that by, that's a really long drag up there, but you can see here, if we drag that, now we have that section at the top there. And we could also, if we wanted to move the section down, to right below the other section, we could just click these up and down arrows as well. And then if you do want to get into the settings of the section, you just click this little gearbox, and you'll see over here on the right-hand side, you see all of the different settings for this particular section. So it's going to be the same thing, whether you're talking about the settings for the elements or the columns or any of these things here. You'll see if you click that little gear, it takes you right to the sections. And most of the sections are very similar. You have the name of the element, which is really important if you're doing like maybe up here you have a button and you want to click it and then you want it to go to like this element. It does help to name your section here. That makes it a little easier to find. You also have the padding here that you can adjust just by clicking there. You can even choose auto or even 0 or whatever you want it to be, the padding there. The background color, did you want it to be sticky? You can add images, all kinds of things. And then you typically have like the advanced functions like adding shadow, borders. You can change the width. You can make this visible on desktop or mobile, which is very helpful if you need to create a separate section maybe for mobile because it just does not look right on mobile, but it looks great on desktop. You do have the ability there. And if you're using like custom CSS, you do have the options there. Okay. Now up here at the top, you have the ability to add elements. So I told you here, like these are the different elements. So you'll see we have sections. So if I did want to add this whole section here, you'll see I just drag that in. And I also can add rows. So I can go to the rows here, or I can click here to add a row. And I love how it guides you to what you need to do next, right? So we added the section there. That's number 1. And that's also at the top there. Now you'll see we're at a row, and where rows are the next. And so now we want to decide, what do we want this to look like, right? So you can see here, in this area, we have like 3 columns. So we're just designing the layout. This is really important, especially when viewing on different devices. We want to tell the system like what elements we want it to group together when it's moving from different devices, okay? So we can have 4 columns here, 6 columns. If we did want 6 columns, let's just say, let's drag that in there. Let's say we actually wanted 7. All we'd have to do is just duplicate that, and now we have 7. If we decided we actually only wanted 5, we could just delete those, and then now we have the columns that we need. So you can see now we have added the section, we've added the columns, and now within those columns, we have elements, okay? So if you see over here, if we're moving along, you'll see we're going in order. Now we have elements, and it also tells you elements here. All right. So what elements do we want to add in here? Maybe we want to add like a subheadline here. Maybe we can click the plus sign, or we can go back up here and drag it in. Maybe we need to add like some paragraph text. Maybe we want to add like an image. So we could add that here. So there's all kinds of things that we can add. Maybe we need to add a button. Okay, so let's scroll down. If you can't find button, which I'm sure it's right in my face, like right there. You could also search for things using the search bar. So we have button. So I'm going to drag that in here. Now, when I am creating things like this, I love to obviously get it right where it looks on the desktop and then immediately go to mobile, because I want to make sure before I start duplicating all of these that I do like what it looks like on mobile. So let's say that we wanted to make that bold. Let's say that we want this just to be a little bit bigger here. Let's say that we want this to be like our brand color or something. We can go back over here. So let's say we like how this looks. If I did want this to be smaller, let's say if I go back over here to mobile, you'll see here when I click there that it says font size, and then you have the ability to choose the font size on mobile and desktop. Okay, so when I'm in the mobile view, it will default to mobile. So you can see up here all of these little options. If you align them, like for example, maybe I want this button to be um, lined up on the left-hand side on desktop, okay? You can see that's desktop there, and of course, I could switch to mobile here, but let's say here on mobile, I want it to be centered. This is actually one that I use a lot. You can just center that there, and then when we go back to desktop, you'll see it's still aligned to the left, okay? I'll center that because I'm weird about things. And then here, let's say that we did want to shrink this down, but we only want to do that on desktop. We don't want to do that on mobile. So if I change this, I can just move the down arrow until I get it the size that I want. And you'll see it's 15 on desktop. And then if I go here, you'll see that it moved, but we could actually move this up because we chose mobile. Okay. So let's say that we love this now. And what I typically do will, if I want, let's say that I wanted this to be similar for all of these different areas, I will actually just delete these and then just multiply this here. So I'm going to grab that column because remember, it's all in layers here. So if I wanted to duplicate this 6-column row, you'll see if I duplicate that, it duplicates this whole blue section here, okay, because that's the rows. But if I hover over the purple area and I click duplicate, it's going to duplicate this column within the blue area. Okay, so hopefully I didn't just confuse you. So let's go highlight the purple area again and let's duplicate. And then we'll highlight the purple area again and duplicate. And then let's just do it one more time and duplicate. Okay. Now I could technically delete, let's say I love this and I actually want 10 of these here on my page. I could actually just duplicate this whole section here or the whole area. And then you'll see I duplicated that. I could also just duplicate this whole column here or this whole section rather. And then now I have a whole other section with this same area. And then if I go to the mobile, you'll see that it's all consistent now. I don't have to go back and edit each of those areas because I edited it in the first one before I started duplicating. Okay. Now, that's really just some quick tips there. You'll see adding the elements. Of course, you have the global sections here. Global sections, if I wanted to, this is really popular as well up here, but let's actually just create one from scratch before I go into all of those cool things, because I want to show you how I start a sales funnel and how I, just some quick tips that I have learned over time. So let's just say funnels, we're going to call this create. And when you create a funnel just from scratch, you'll see that it looks like this. You have the stats area, you have the sales area. So if you attach any products to this, you have the ability to check all of that. You have security headers here. You have the different events taking place. And then of course you have all of your settings. So if you want to connect a domain, you can click here to do that. This is going to be the name and the path of the actual funnel without a domain. Okay, so this is just going to be basically the naked domain of this website. So that means that if I was to go back here and then look at this page, it would be my domain /funnels. Okay, it would be like whatever my agency branded link is. All right, now let's go ahead and create the first step. And typically this will be like home. So I'm going to say my home page, and then I'm going to do my path. Okay, so I want this to be the first step is going to be home and then /path. And if I was using a ClickFunnels funnel, I could import that using the URL. But I'm just going to go ahead and click create the funnel step. So now I've created the funnel step. If I wanted to use an existing funnel or website, like you can see, maybe I liked that page that I was working on and I want to just duplicate it inside of here, I could do that. I could also do that if it was a website instead of a funnel, but I'm actually just going to create this from blank. Okay. I do have the ability, if you're on the SaaS plan, you can create A/B split testing as well. You would just want to create that variation here. And if you did want to add products, to this specific page, you would want to go to the page where it says products and you want to click here and then you can add your products there. You can also click here to add the what you want the domain to look like, or I'm sorry, what you want this page path to be once you connect the domain. All right. Now, I keep telling you that because there are many places. Okay. So I told you here that this is /funnels for this whole funnel. Okay. That I get a lot of questions about domains. So I want to try to clear some of that up. This is what it's going to be. So if I go to um, look at this, okay, so I don't have a page yet. But if I went to look at this page here connected to a domain, it would be /home. If I want to see what this would look like without being connected to a domain, it would be this here. So what I typically like to do, since I like the pretty page to be published, what I do here, because we need to make this different, right? This is going to be like the unpublished link to this page, and this is going to be the published link to the page. So when I'm doing the unpublished version here, which is the same in the settings, that would be the unpublished version. I usually typically do like hyphen page. Okay, so update page now. And then now what I want to do is I want to actually start creating my page. So I'm just going to create this from blank. And now it's going to open up the editor. So you can see here, of course, the first thing we're going to do is add a full width here. Now, something that I do absolutely love that we just we just saw are these pre-built sections. These have just been added. So we have the welcome section here. We have the about section, the team section, testimonials, footers, FAQ sections and all of that. Okay. And now one thing that I don't see is, let's bring this in for the menu. Okay. So I don't see a menu on there. And this is actually, I guess a menu is not really that important when you have a funnel, but if you have a website, it definitely is. So I just want to show you the options here, but I also want to show you the global sections and the save templates. Okay. So here's how I start a website. All right. I will typically create this first section here. I will duplicate this and then I will duplicate this again. Okay. Now this is going to be my header. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull in a column. I'm going to pull in an image here because I want to add my logo. So now I'm going to click there and I'm going to click here and open up my folder. So let's go to, we have the brand boards, of course. So I'm going to grab my demo brand. Let's say I want to add my logo there. All right. Now that is white and the logo is white there. So let's just give this a color and let's make this my brand color. Okay. So we have that there. Let's go ahead and make the footer our brand color as well. So I'm going to add that there. And maybe we want to add one column here and let's add some text. And what I'm going to do is let's turn this white. Okay. So that highlight here. Let's make this white. And what I'm going to do is use a custom value because I want this to show the year that it is. So let's say copyrighted, and then let's do shift and then this little key there. Now, when you do that, that opens up the custom values. And what I want to do is go to right now because I want it to add the year that we have, that whatever the current year is. I want it to be copyrighted here. I could even say, if I want to, I can duplicate this and I can say managed by, and then let's hold the shift key down and that little squiggly key, whatever that's called. And then let's do account name. Okay, so now it's going to say copyrighted, whatever the year is, and then managed by whatever the name of the sub account is. Now let's make this a little bit smaller. Let's say, because we certainly don't need that to be so big. And now let's make this 17 as well. Oops, click in here. All right, so now we've got that. Now we want this to be, we can even change the size here. Let's change the um, maybe 100. There we go. Now, what we want to do is we want to save this section here and this section here as global because we want to be able to pull these in on the other pages that we're using inside the funnel and not have to recreate the header and the footer here. Now, I will show you like this. I feel like there's a lot of space up here. So if you don't like that, you can just go here and play with the margins. So just so that you know, the padding here is going to be the space inside the element. The margin is going to be the space around the element. Okay. So if I click here, you'll see that we have padding on each side, but we have nothing on the top or bottom. If I click and go to the next area here, this purple section, see if I can click on it. This purple section here, you'll see that there is padding at the bottom. When I move that to 0, you can see that that moves up. So now there's no space between the purple area and the blue or the orange area. So now we have this blue section here, and you can see now we have padding here, but let's go ahead and just eliminate this padding. All right, so now we like how that looks. Of course, let's always check the desktop before we go duplicating things. I think this is a little large, so let's change the text here. Let's change it. We'll just move it all the way down to 13. All right, so let's go back now. And now what we want to do is we want to save. So I'm going to click over here where you see the little save thing, and then let's call this header. And we can choose, do we want to save it to a template or a global section? A template is going to be if we wanted to save it inside of our account and we want to use it on multiple different funnels or websites, we can save it as a template and we'll be able to edit that on any website and it won't change anything. It will, the template will remain the same. We can just pull it in and then use it however we want to. But if we wanted to create a global section, this is for the funnel areas, this funnel specifically, okay, you won't be able to create a global section and then use it in multiple websites and funnels like the template. But the global section allows you to, and you'll see when you make it global, it says global header here and it turns purple. What this allows you to do is to use this on any page inside the funnel. And anytime you want to update any information here, it will update on all the different pages. So that's really helpful when you're creating your funnel so that you don't have to go through all the pages. So let's save our footer as well as a global footer. Okay, so save. Now I have this area here, and of course we could just go to the pre-built sections now, and let's just say we'll add this. We can even just delete this. Let's say now we have our header there, and let's say we have an about section, so we can pull this in. And let's say we want to share some testimonials. So you can see that they, the style is congruent. So if you're choosing like all the dark, light, or whatever there. Let's say that we have plans section as well. So let's just go ahead and pull that in. And let's say that we have an FAQ section that we want to add down here. Let's go ahead and choose that. And we'll add the FAQ section. And you do see that there are some footers here. So if you prefer one of these footers, of course, you could choose that. I do like the, the style of the footer. And of course, if you liked any of the style and you wanted to change it to match this or any of your brand colors, you could just change that. Click here, change the text, the background color, and so on. Okay, so you have lots of different options there as far as creating that funnel. Okay, so if I click save now, okay, because you can't publish without, you'll have to connect a domain if you want to publish. When you click save, you'll see all of the options over here for the SEO. Okay, so we want to give our page a title, a description. You can add any keywords here. You can add the author of the page. This is going to be the image that is shared, like when you share the link and it shows that preview here, maybe we can even just choose that image there. You have links and tags as well, like for the meta, and then you can even select the language, okay? Once you have all that selected, you can just click update. Now you'll see over here that you can move things around based on the different layers. So you can see if I wanted to move like this section up here, you can do that. And then of course we have the pop-up area here, okay? You'll see here that you can toggle between the different pages. You can also do that up here. We only have one page in this funnel. That's why we only see that there. But you also can add tracking codes. So if you need to install like a pixel or something where it needs to be the header or the footer of this specific page, you can do that. Of course, you can also do that if it needs to be like website specific, you would do that in the main website or funnel settings, okay? But this is for this page specific. You also have the ability to add some custom CSS for this page. You can choose the typography for your brand here, and this is going to be for the whole page here. You also have the background. So if you wanted a background image or you want to change the color of the main background, what a lot of people do is change the, like put in background image, and then maybe you want this to be transparent, and then that will show through there. So you can get some really cool effects there. You also have the pop-up settings. You are only allowed one pop-up per page. If you want to edit the pop-up, you just simply do this just like you would a section. So we would just add the row. You would just add the element. Maybe it's a form here, and you can select the form, and then you will see that there. Now, if you click here for the pop-up settings, you'll see here is where you want to make all of your edits, and you can choose, do you want the pop-up to show on the exit? None. Do you want to add a delay? Or you can even add the pop-up to a button where they need to click the button like this. And then when you go down to select the action, you can choose open on pop-up, or you could choose any of these other options as well based on clicking the button there. If you need to access your SEO data, again, you can do that there. You also can preview any custom codes. If you want to see what it'll look like live, you can just click there. You also have the cookie consent options. If you wanted to set those up and enable those, you could do that there. For example, if I just do this here, you'll see now you have these options here so that you can set up your cookies and make sure that you are compliant. And then you have the ability here to choose two-column mode or like the auto, depending on how you want to view this content, okay? Here, again, you can choose the pages, and then you can also choose the mobile or the desktop view here, and then you'll see the link to this page here. And you can also click that if you wanted to preview the page, okay? You can also click here to preview. You can click here to go back to previous versions. If you just need to undo your last step, you can do that. Or if maybe you went undo too far and you need to go back, you can choose redo here. And you can also choose to hide those settings as well, okay? So of course, all the time when you make changes, you wanna make sure to keep hitting that save button so that you don't lose any of your changes. It will also auto save every few seconds for you, and you can see that up here as well, okay? And of course, when you are making changes on a live website and you want those changes to reflect live, you always wanna make sure to click publish. But if you just click save, it's not going to publish those changes. You will have to click publish for that to show up live, which is very, very helpful when you're working on a website and maybe you don't have time to complete it. You can always just save and then come back to it, and it ensures that your website visitors are not seeing something that you did not complete, okay? So that is really the gist of the funnel builder there. Lots of super cool things. The funnel builder is super fast, high quality. You guys will be hard pressed to find a easier, better funnel builder than what we have available inside of High Level. Thank you all so